Hello, everyone. How are you all doing today? My name is Carlos Branchetti, your host for the evening, and I'm so happy to be back here with the third episode of the Student World live show. Folks, we're super excited because today we're launching our idea of a destination debate. And the whole idea of this is to show you guys two super amazing destinations, two different cities, one in Canada and one in Australia, and show what each of them has to offer, right? And basically, what we always say here is that when it comes to studying abroad, there's a study abroad destination. There's no such thing as one destination fits all. We're all different people with different tastes, different interests, right? Some of us are like the big cities, excitement. Some others prefer the coziness of a small or mid-town. Some prefer to be close to the beaches, some to the mountains, right? So we all like different things. And the idea of the destination debate brought by the student world is to always present you two different options so you can get to know more about them and see which one matches with you, right? Similar to swipe right or swipe left, we're gonna show you two amazing towns now, and let's introduce them. The first, in one side of the ring, we're gonna have the amazing Sydney with their white sandy beach, the sunny weather all year long. And in the other side of the ring, we're gonna have Vancouver, an amazing, like close to the mountains, cozy city in the west coast of Canada. Alrighty, so so there's a lot of exciting things coming up. This show is going to be around 42 minutes to an hour, but I'm sure that the time will pass super quickly because we all going to have a lot of fun together, right? Again, there's nothing out there like this, like the student world is doing today, destination debate. So I hope you guys enjoy, but your opinion is extremely important to us. So keep sending your likes, your dislikes, that's fine. What we want is to help you. So you tell us if what we're doing here is helping you or not, okay? So if it is, give your like our video, follow us on our social media channels, on Instagram at The Student World, on Facebook, whatever your social media of your preference is, we are there and we would love to welcome you to keep sharing many study abroad opportunities. Alrighty? Okay, so now let me just give you a brief introduction about these two amazing cities, Vancouver and Sydney. Some interesting facts. Vancouver is among the top 10 most livable cities in the world, and it is also among the top 10 cleanest city in the world, right? It has the mildest climate among the cities in Canada, and it's the city with the most amount of parks in the whole world. So if you are a fan of an outdoor activity of, after a long day riding in the park or walking in the park, maybe Vancouver is the right one for you. But in the other side of the ring, we have someplace that attracts hundreds of thousands of people every year, and it is the beautiful Sydney in Australia. Sydney has some of the best beaches in the world. It has an amazing weather almost throughout the whole year with full of sunny days. It is also a super multicultural city. Yeah. Did you know that 32% of the people in Sydney were actually born overseas? Yeah, so if you want to get to know people from many different cultures, maybe that's your place. But I'm not the one to tell you what is your place. I hope that you can come up with that decision by yourself by the end of today's shows. So guys, I'm super happy to present you the destination debate. And representing these two amazing cities, we're gonna have someone from Macquarie University, and in the other side, representing Vancouver, we're going to have BCIT, British Columbia Institute of Technology. All right, so please, guys, welcome my two amazing guests, Amy Celorio and Sarah Lonan. Welcome, guys. How are you doing today?
Hola, Carlos. I'm so happy to be with the student world and with our friends from all over the world. It's going to be hard, right? Vancouver and Sydney.
Yeah, you'll be facing a big one. Hello, Sarah. How are you feeling
Hi.
today?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here, and it's so true. I think we can all agree that both of the cities are pretty amazing. So, it's the best of the best, really.
That is true. Guys, why don't we start by for you introducing a little bit about yourself and about the institution that you are representing here?
Wonderful. Who should
Maybe
start?
Amy can go first.
Absolutely. So here's Amy. I'm actually talking with you from Mexico City. I'm the regional director for Latin America of Macquarie University, and I'm actually an alumni. So I did my master's there. Something interesting that I need to tell you today is that I also live in Vancouver, and I can say that both cities have half of my heart each. So it's going to be quite hard for me, but let's see. And well, Macquarie University, it's a public university in Sydney, Australia, with more than 45,000 students and one of the most international in the world. So happy to chat today.
Yeah, cool. How about BCIT, Sarah?
Sure. So BCIT stands for the British Columbia Institute of Technology, located in Vancouver, where I am right now. I am born and raised in Vancouver, and I'm also an alumni of BCIT. So I speak from personal experience that, BCIT is one of the best institutions that I've attended, and it's hard work, but it really pays off. And Vancouver is an exceptional city with amazing parks, and whoever said Vancouver, it does have that reputation, but I can assure you right now that it is sunny outside. It's a beautiful day, and after this debate, I'm going to relax by the park.
Cool. All righty, guys. So again, we're going to start the destination debate, which it has the name debate, but it's actually more of a collaboration. The idea is we're going to bring you topics, and we're going to ask you to explore the topics in that from the perspective of the city that you are representing. All right. And so, folks, for you at home and whatever you are in the world, keep, writing down everything that you want. And if you want to ask things at the end, we're going to have a space at the end of the live to address questions from the audience. All righty. Okay, then. So let's start. So the first topic of the debate is quality of education. And this one will start with you, Amy.
Yes, well, absolutely. Australia is worldwide known for being one of the best destinations in the world for international students. Indeed, maybe you didn't know, but it's the third most popular destination just after the UK and the US. And we are close to win the second for the UK. So, well, it has around 43 universities. So looking at higher education, and the large majority are public. So it really stands for the quality. Almost all the universities are ranked in the top 500, Macquarie in the top 200 indeed. And the Australian government has a very, very special framework to make sure that the quality that the education and the institutions have is amongst the highest in the world. So we have right now more than 700,000 international students, and even with the current situation that we're living, definitely they are having the time of their lives.
Yay. What about BCIT in terms of, Vancouver in terms of quality of education?
Yes, so Vancouver also has, two of the biggest universities in Canada, one of which I've studied at, and BCIT is especially known for a really job skills ready institution. So I actually studied there after I graduated from UBC, which is one of the top 3 universities in Canada. And Vancouver is just such a great place to study. We also are one of the top education institution destinations as well. I think we're in the top 4 or 5. And Canada is a really great place as well as job opportunities, because at the end of the day, when you graduate from an institution, a university, you want to work. And by 2022, there's going to be 1 million jobs coming to British Columbia, which is the province of Vancouver. So right now is really a great time to start studying in Canada because of all these great job opportunities.
Yeah, cool. Guys, for those of you watching, keep writing down Vancouver or Sydney. If you're into Vancouver so far, write down Vancouver or put the Canadian flag. If you're more into Sydney, write down Sydney or put the Australian flags, okay? So we can get an idea of which one is doing better. Okie dokie. So second topic of the destination debate is style of education and learning. As you all know, that can vary a lot from one country to another. So why don't we start with you, Sarah?
Sure. So the British Columbia Institute of Technology, BCIT, it is really well known for a 50% theory, 50% practice model. So a lot of times in universities, you're sitting in lecture, you're taking notes, but at BCIT, you're really thrown into projects, to presentations, and it really is the best way to learn. I can say for myself that when I studied at BCIT, it was intense right away. I was presenting for real clients, but at the end of the day, once you graduate, you feel like you can handle absolutely everything because you really get that job skills training. So that's how it really is different from university. And I found to be a little bit more advantageous in my, job hunt once I graduated.
Yeah. What about in Sydney?
Yeah, well, in particular, Macquarie University is located in the equivalent of the Silicon Valley of Australia. So we have more than 300 organizations, global companies right in the campus. So our students have the opportunity to have internships from their first semesters. Doesn't matter if it's your bachelor or your master's with this type of organizations. So we are talking about, for example, Johnson & Johnson, Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, so very, very large organizations. Similar to what Sarah was mentioning, our programs are absolutely theory together with practice. So are absolutely hands-on experience. And well, in my case, I also did an internship at 6 months. That was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. So this is the way that the university makes you absolutely job ready and industry ready for employability, basically from the first day of uni.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Guys, now let's move on to the third topic, which is application process, generally speaking, right? Application process, when people want to study abroad, they start going through all the things that they need to do. Sometimes they freak out, right? So can you share a little bit like how the application process for your institution or for institutions in general in your city, country is? So maybe this time I'll go with you, Amy.
Sure. Well, the application process for Australian universities is actually quite easy and flexible, I would say. Nowadays, you can do absolutely everything online. So just with one click, you can apply by yourself or get the support of one of our representatives all around the world. So that's something that quite differentiates Australia, that we work very, very closely with representatives in Mexico, Brazil, Europe, everywhere in the world, and they can absolutely help you for free. Applications can take from 2 weeks to 4 weeks maximum, and well, you will have the chance to see all and track how it is going. So yeah, I would say it's really simple. As a student, for me, didn't take much time and was a big success.
Cool. Sarah?
Yeah, so the application process at BCIT, which I can speak for, is that we have two kinds of applications. One is first qualified, first accepted. So once you meet the requirements, as soon as you apply, if there's space, you can get in. And then we also have competitive entry, which is, you have to be competitive. So if we're asking for, let's say, a 6 in IELTS or a 6.5, you want to try to get even higher. So, for BCIT, usually we're looking for English and math, depending on what program. And we're looking for high school English and math. So you really don't need always to have a university degree to get into our institution. You can just apply with your high school marks. And again, yeah, application processing can be 2 to 4 weeks as well. And, we want to make the process easy because we really benefit from having international students in our institution. It really makes our city such an amazing place. So we're here to help you along the way. And that's part of my job as well. So yeah, I think our process is easy as long as you meet the requirements. And there's always ways to meet the requirements if you don't currently.
Cool. All right. So jumping on to the fourth topic of the debate, it's something that is very like maybe the most sensitive thing for students, which is the costs, right? So how much does actually cost to study in Sydney or to study in Vancouver? So yeah, the next topic is tuition costs in average. So maybe we'll start with you, Amy.
Yeah, sure. Well, it is very important that the students consider, well, it will totally depend on the program that they are looking to do. So if it's a bachelor or it's a master's, our bachelors normally take 3 years, our masters can be for 1 to 2 years. And what great advantage is that you can actually get recognition of your prior studies. So that could absolutely change the cost of your tuition. But in average, just to give you an idea, it could go from, let's say, 20,000 Australian dollars to 40,000 Australian dollars per year. So in this case, for example, if you are doing medicine or quite of a more advanced degree in those terms. But don't worry, because both the Australian government and the Australian universities have so many types of scholarships from international students. So just speaking for Macquarie, we have scholarships that can go from 50% to even 100 of all your tuition fees. So even though it can sound at the beginning as an investment, it can be absolutely affordable given different scholarships and loans from organizations and governments.
Cool, definitely. And there is a famous saying that says an investment in education is the one with the highest return, right?
Absolutely.
So, all righty. So how about in Vancouver, Sarah?
Sure. So in Vancouver, at least for BCIT, which I can speak to, our tuition is around $20,000 per year, Canadian dollars, which I think is quite similar to Australian dollars, if I'm correct, which is nice for comparison. Yeah. So it's around $20,000 per year. We have diplomas, bachelor's, and master's degrees. But what is most popular at BCIT is our diplomas, and they're kind of like postgrads. Like, for example, for me, I first studied at the University of British Columbia, got my bachelor's degree, and then I studied my diploma at BCIT. So you'll see a lot of people doing that because, you know, you have a bachelor's degree, you don't want another bachelor's, so you go and do the 2-year diploma. So that costs only around $40,000 Canadian. It's still a lot of money, but again, BCIT has a 98% employment rate. So again, it's an investment. You know, you have to pay the money, $10,000 each term, 4 terms in 2 years. But once you finish, you can make that money back in a, you know, Canadian salary. So it really is an investment well spent.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, still in the financial aspect of studying abroad, obviously the tuition cost is a big part of that, but the living costs plays a big part as well, right? So now we're going to approach a little bit of the difference in terms of living costs from these two amazing cities. How about we start with you, Sarah?
Sounds good. So for living costs in Vancouver, you can go cheap or expensive. It really depends on what you're looking for. As a student, I like to live cheap when I was studying. So there's lots of options. We have a residence on campus, and I believe it was under $700 a month. So that's pretty reasonable for Vancouver. Vancouver and Sydney, both places are, you know, known to be big cities. They're more expensive than maybe smaller cities. So 700 is kind of a cheap amount of money, but if you want to go and stay in your own lavish apartment, you could spend up to 2,000. But as a student, you probably want to go with the cheaper option. So we have the BCIT residence, we have homestay, which is around $800 per month, and you get some meals from a family, that's a Canadian family. But you can also, you know, live with roommates too. So I would say living is around, can be anywhere from 600 to 2,000. And then food can be 300 a month, and this is monthly, to maybe around 600 a month. So I would say altogether, living expenses can total at, let's say, $1,000 a month to maybe 2,500. So it really is a big spectrum. You can really do things cheaply if you're smart. And as a student, there's tons of options. And transportation is also really good. I'll get to that later. But when you study at BCIT, you get a UPass. So transportation is essentially in your tuition.
Very well. What about in Sydney? Are they similar to that those amounts, Amy?
Yeah, they're actually quite similar. And as I was saying, considering that the exchange rate is very, very similar, I would say it's quite a similar investment. But yeah, giving you an idea, the Australian government suggests you to consider around 20,000 Australian dollars a year. So this goes from about 1,500 or 700 per month. Definitely in Sydney, I would say that the most expensive thing is the accommodation. So you need to be very smart where you want to live. If you want to be close to campus, or if you prefer to live by the beach and you are going to consider the transportation. Our campus has so many different options of accommodation. One that just opened 2 weeks ago, and the price per week is around 200 Australian dollars. This is something interesting that for Australia, you need to think per week, right? Because for some reason, that's the way they budget it. And yeah, and transportation can be quite cheap, can be from $3 to $4. So yeah, my recommendation is to go from around 1,500. And well, you also can work. So that's a great opportunity. Maybe we might have some time to chat about that later. But yeah, you can definitely work as a student and support you with your living expenses.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you brought up a very interesting point. I forgot to add this, but how about the working opportunities while they are studying? How's the possibility? How are the rules for that? Can we start maybe with you, Sarah?
Sounds good. Yeah. So when you study in Canada at a public institution, I believe private as well, BCIT is public, you can work part-time. So that's like 20 hours a week. And that could be anything from something in your industry to any kind of other job. So, it's not a ton of hours, 20 hours a week, but it is enough to help support your lifestyle while you're living and studying in Canada. So that really helps. And at BCIT, we hire lots of international students because, you might as well work and study in the same place. You don't have to walk anywhere, really. So there's lots of opportunity to work at the institution that you're studying.
Absolutely. The full experience, right? So how about in Australia, in Sydney, Emmy? Can students work while they're studying?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, the large majority of the international students can work and study. This also applies for the students studying English. Of course, the better your English, the better opportunities you are going to find. And it's very similar to Canada. It's 40 hours per 2 weeks, and you can work full-time during vacations. Something pretty cool is that if your partner or family members go with you, they can work full-time. And well, this is indeed a great way to support for your studies. Same, our campus is so big, it's like a city campus that the large majority of our students work there. It was my case from the first months that I started my master's. And also we have a huge shopping center, seriously the largest I've seen in Australia. And also students work there. So these tend to be flexible options because of course you will have a lot to do with your studies, but it's a very important possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a big help in affording, all the costs that we just talked about. Again, I'm so happy with the engagement we're having here today. We have lots of people sending comments. There is one specific comment I wanted to highlight. One person said, let's cut to the deal, right? Let's go straight to the point. What about the food? So it was not actually in this part, but why don't we jump in and go straight to the point following this advice from our user. What about the food in Sydney, Amy?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you as a Mexican that I love the food. That was one of the things that impressed me the most of Australia. So Australia being an immigrant city, as you said, that one in each 3 Australians, it's international. The food is just amazing. And Aussies love and value their food and their drinks. So yeah, the food is incredible. You can find from Mexican, Brazilian, international food. And there's a lot, being, of course, Sydney by the beach and Australia, an island, there's incredible seafood. So if you are into it, you will love it.
Yeah. Sarah, make it quick because for most of the users, it's almost dinner time. And if we keep talking about food, they're going to start leaving this call. But how about in Vancouver?
Yeah, Vancouver has a great food selection. We have a large Asian population, all the way from like different Asian nationalities. So our Asian cuisine is like top. I eat sushi like once a week. It's actually really cheap in Vancouver, which is really different than other cities. So I eat sushi like all the time. It's my go-to. But we have great Vietnamese food, great Indian food, great Singaporean food. You know what, we could have better Mexican food. I really think that there is some great Mexican places in Vancouver, but I still feel like we have a long way to go. So I'm hoping that gets better. Yeah, we're also a very multicultural city. So, you really can find those kind of cheaper, hole in the wall, but amazing food places in Vancouver. And we do have poutine as well. I see that Johnny has mentioned poutine. So we have poutine. That is actually a Montreal thing, but we totally have it in Vancouver. So Johnny, you are covered.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I tried once when I was visiting a friend in
I
Montreal.
love poutine so much.
It's good. It's really good.
Alrighty. So, okay, guys, before we move on, actually, on the next 6 topics of this debate, I want to hear from the audience there, guys. So far from what you're hearing, which one are you, Matt, do you think it's going to match better with your personality, Sydney or Vancouver? Can you start sharing some of the, how so far, what it's looking? And also, if you have changed your mind, if you came here at the beginning with one city as your as your favorite choice, and after what you heard so far, you changed that, can you also mention that? Great. Yeah, don't forget to use the hashtag Team Sydney and hashtag Team Vancouver as well. All right. Lots of people. Vancouver. Thank you, Miss Canada. Vancouver. Okay, but there's a lot of people still like in Sydney. Don't worry, Amy. We're gonna have 6 more topics to cover. Oh, there you go, Carla, Sydney. Alrighty. So now, guys, for the second part of the destination debate, we're gonna invite to this live 2 former students, one from the US and one from the UK, that actually both of them experienced what it's like studying in these 2 amazing cities. So folks, please welcome Chloe and Nicole to the stage.
Yay.
Hiya.
Hello guys. How are you doing today? How are you, Chloe?
Good, I'm doing well, thank you.
And you, Nicole?
Doing great, thanks.
All right, yeah. So as you can see, folks, Chloe and Nicole, they both study in one in Sydney and the other in Vancouver. And guys, before we jump into the second part of the destination debate, why don't you start sharing a little bit about who you are and your experience, what you study in Vancouver or in Sydney, and your general experience. Just a quick intro. Maybe we can start with you, Nicole.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole. I'm American. I went to college in Connecticut for 4 years, but I studied in Sydney for 5 months during my junior year. And I went to the Australian Catholic University, which is one of the big ones in Sydney, and I'm super excited to talk about that today. So I studied communication and international studies with a minor in marketing, and I now work in social media marketing and actually have my own travel blog.
Cool. How about you, Chloe?
Hiya. So yeah, I'm basically still studying. I'm at the University of Manchester in the UK studying geography, and I'm in my 4th and final year. So basically during my 3rd year, I got the opportunity to go and study on an exchange program in Vancouver at Simon Fraser University. So I went out there in the summer of 2019 and returned, I think, just over a year ago today, a little bit early due to COVID, but I still got a good kind of like 8-9 months stint out there, so it was really good. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about Vancouver and kind of look back at some of the great memories about this amazing city.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I hope you brought your A game, because now we're going to carry on with the final 6 topics. All right. The idea, again, is Amy and Sarah, they're going to start answering, but then we want you to build up on their answering by sharing some of your experience. Okay, so next topic, the seventh topic is exploring the city, getting around. How easy it is to get around in Vancouver, Sarah?
Okay, well, in Vancouver, you can take the bus, the C bus, and the SkyTrain, and you have to pay just that one fee, or you have that student U pass, and you can really get anywhere. You can go to the mountains and go skiing or snowboarding. You can go swim in the ocean. You can do that all on the same day and take the bus. So that's really great about our city. And also, you can bike everywhere. I bike like all the time, and even rollerblade. So it is a really great city for getting around. It's really made for pedestrians, and you can really explore the city without having to drive.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'd just add to that, yeah, I would say Simon Fraser University, their main campus is about 40 minutes out of the city on a mountain, which is pretty cool, with good views all over the city. So it's kind of like a 40-minute bus ride into downtown, and you can kind of get around everywhere pretty easily with your student U pass, which is usually covered with your fees, but I'm not sure about BCIT or UBC. So yeah, it makes it pretty easy to get around, and the C bus is pretty cool. You can go from downtown Vancouver across to North Vancouver, and it's amazing views, especially at night if you're coming back.
Cool. How about how easy it is to get around Sydney, Emmy?
Well, the public transportation system in Sydney, in Australia in general, it's quite amazing. We also have metro, train, buses. My favorite is the ferry. I'm not sure if Nicole took it once. Maybe she can tell us later, but it's just amazing the views that you can have. Actually, by my trip to Macquarie University, just passed exactly by the Harbour Bridge and see the Opera House. So it's just amazing. And you can take it and use it to go to other cities and do day trips to the Blue Mountains or other places close to Sydney. So yeah, that is extremely cool.
Yeah, and just to build off of that, you can actually get a card in Sydney that will cover all those forms of transportation. It's called an Opal card, and I just would refill it weekly as needed, and that would cover the buses, something called the light rail, which is a tram, very convenient to get around the city, trains, and then going off what Amy said, the ferry, which was my favorite form of transportation. It's basically a very affordable harbor cruise. So not only are you getting from point A to point B, but you get to just take in the sights, especially at sunset. It's awesome. And not to mention the airport in Sydney is phenomenal. Sydney is, the biggest city in Australia. So Sydney Airport is one of the most international airports in the world. So they definitely can get you anywhere you want to go.
Amazing, amazing. All right, so let's move on to the next topic, please. The next topic is getting along with locals. As you know, not everybody is outgoing and super, can make friends easily. Some people are more shy. And when they find themselves in a whole different country, that can be a little bit scary and give them a little bit of anxiety. So what can you tell us, Sarah, about making friends in Vancouver with locals?
Okay, so one of the biggest misconceptions about Vancouver is that people are polite and unfriendly. And that is so not true. I mean, look at Chloe and I. We are very friendly people. And, I'm from Vancouver. So you are amongst friends. Yes, you have to, sometimes go out of your comfort zone. But again, when you study at BCIT, 90% of the students are local. So you are going to be interacting with Canadian students all the time. If you like to snowboard or ski or do yoga, there's tons of meetups where you get to do great outdoor activities with locals. So you just have to kind of put yourself out there. And as soon as you do that, you will meet people. You just have to take that step.
Yeah, amazing. Before we get to Chloe, guys, she brought up a very interesting point. Many of us have myths or, I don't know, things that we think that's the way they work in Vancouver, or people from Canadians are like this or that. What are the myths that you have about that you think that you have about Canadians or Aussies? Can you share here on the chat, and we'll go over them and see if they're actually true or false. Chloe, how about you? How easy it was to make friends when you got there in Vancouver?
I think Vancouver definitely has this kind of vibe. You can tell straight away when you're walking down the street that people, I would say, are really friendly and welcoming. Like one of my first days kind of walking around the city on my own, had my backpack on, I was kind of strolling along, and a guy stopped me at the pedestrian crossing, and he just reached out his hand and he goes, "Welcome to Vancouver." And I'm like, I don't even know how he knew. Yeah, I was new there. I guess I had a touristy kind of look about me, but it was just really, really lovely. And yeah, I'd also say always check Facebook groups as well, because there's definitely a Brits in Vancouver kind of Facebook page, and I'm sure there's kind of similar ones for different people. But I mean, yours, you want to kind of branch out and meet the locals as well. So yeah, I'd say get down to Karma Teaches Yoga in Gastown. They do really great by donation yoga classes. Get out on the mountains. Like, people honestly are so great.
Cool. Alrighty. How about in Sydney with the Aussies, Emmy?
Well, I think this is quite an easy one for me. Aussies, I think they are worldwide known to be some of the most relaxed, chill, cool people, I would say. And in my opinion, this is very, very much true. I mean, they will always invite you to go for a surf, for a barbecue, for a beer, to have some food. And well, as is Sydney, a very, very multicultural city, maybe, I don't know, like the myth that maybe if you are international or you look foreign, you're not going to make friends. That's absolutely untrue. Like, people look absolutely all types of cultures there. I had also quite good experiences just landing in Sydney, and at the second, someone just telling me, "Yes, come, I help you. I take you to the way you need to go." No, one of those things, like with the happiest smile. And also another person in Sydney, I was lost like in my 4th day in the city, and gave me his cell phone and told me, "Oh, just call your friends." And I mean, that might not happen here in Mexico. So yeah, indeed, very friendly people. And the universities also do a lot of activities, social clubs, so you make friends. So you won't leave Australia without some Aussie friends.
All right. How was your experience there making friends, Nicole?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I had a similar story where during my first week in Sydney, I must have just looked very confused on a corner in a sidewalk trying to figure out the maps on my phone. And someone came up to me and just out of nowhere said, like, "How can I help you? Like, where are you trying to go?" Which really was, yeah, I was taken aback, because here in the US that does not happen. So super friendly people. I also interned when I was in Sydney, and my bosses who I interned for, they quite literally became like my host family over the semester. Just so hospitable. They got me lunch every single Wednesday. I met their whole family. They took me on a day trip. They really welcomed me in as one of their own. So nice. And like Amy said, Sydney is super international. So my favorite part about it is you will meet people from all around the world. So not only do I have Aussie friends who I still keep in touch with, but I have friends all across Europe, even South America, and then Americans too. So it's awesome.
Amazing. And I guess, guys, we all could use a little bit more of socializing after this whole pandemic, right? So that will be awesome. All righty. Okay, we do have some myths coming up here on the chat. Alan has a myth about Australia. How about the exotic animals? Are they everywhere, Amy?
Well, I can tell you that my grandma didn't allow me to go to the beach and swim there because a massive shark was going to come and eat me. And well, indeed, that didn't happen. Well, I mean, this is a common question. I always get it from students that have like arachnophobia. But no, guys, indeed, Vancouver, Sydney are huge cities. And it's not going to be common that you see a kangaroo jumping, as some TV commercials show it, or like a koala just in any of the trees. So, well, no, you might need to go to Taronga Zoo or maybe do a trip to one of the national parks to see these exotic animals. So they might be there, but somewhere hidden that might not be that easy that gets to your room.
Do you have any experience like that, Nicole, or no?
Yes. So living in the city of Sydney, I did not see one spider because it's a concrete jungle. They don't want to be there. However, I did go camping in the outback, and I encountered the most poisonous spider in the entire world. It touched my foot, fun fact. So they're there, but you have to find them. They will not find you. So don't be afraid.
Fair enough. Okay, guys, let's move it on to the next topic, which is a very important one. Maybe the most important one. Nightlife. How is the nightlife and the fun activities for the folks out there who are planning to study and live in Vancouver, Sarah?
Okay, so I'm going to be 100% honest. We are not known for our nightlife, yet we do have it. We have what's actually really getting popular in Vancouver, it has been forever, is we have a huge brewery culture. So in Vancouver, we have tons of really great beer places. They brew their own beer. And that's kind of where people like to hang out these days. You know, right now our patios are open, so you can grab a beer at a patio or get a flight. So you can try all these different kinds of beers that are infused with amazing, you know, fruits and different ingredients. So our brewery culture is really big. We do have the clubs, but it's been a year that there's no clubbing anymore. But before that, you know, there are places to go because Vancouver is so multicultural. You know, for the people from South America, from Latin America, there was like reggaeton night on Fridays. There was country music night for people who like country music. So there is something for everyone. But again, what makes Vancouver, I think, really stand out are our daytime activities. The skiing, the snowboarding, the beaches, the outdoor yoga, the trips that you can take in the day. So I feel like that is really the kinds of people who would kind of be drawn to Vancouver, is people who love to experience the outdoors. We do have nightlife, but it's not our biggest selling point.
Do you agree, Chloe? How was your experience in nightlife and in fun activities in general?
Yeah, I would agree with Sarah. When I first kind of got out there, having come from a very kind of, you know, classic UK university, Manchester nightlife, it's incredible. Coming to Vancouver, it was a slight change in that sense, but I'd say actually it just took a little bit of digging to find the gems. So it really depends what you kind of like. I mean, there's like Granville Street. If you like kind of mainstream music, chart music, you can dress up and go to those kind of clubs. Or there's definitely like an emerging underground scene as well, with some techno bass, electronic music. So it is there to find. A good place to look for that actually is resident advisor, and it can kind of tell you what's going on. And I would say there's some good spots outside of downtown in Mount Pleasant, Commercial Drive, kind of hidden away a little bit more, but still really great. Also, yeah, the microbrewery culture is amazing. Like before I came to Vancouver, I kind of hated beer, didn't really like beer at all. And then I tried the most amazing like raspberry sour beer. I didn't even know that was possible. So it's really fun tasting all the different flavors, and yeah, so much to do.
How about in Sydney, guys? Nightlife is a big thing.
Well, I think we're very, very lucky in Sydney. First, because of the weather, it helps us so much for the day and night life, indeed. And well, I would say definitely, in my opinion, Sydney is one of the most vivid cities that exist. There's actually a festival called Vivid Sydney, so indeed it is. And well, there's so much to do. I mean, from parties by the beach, tall type from bohemian lifestyle, rooftops. There are indeed clubs, pretty cool clubs. Maybe the party might not end as late as in Latin America and the US, but there is cool nightlife indeed. And also Australia is worldwide known for its wine. So you can go to the Hunter Valley for wine trips, its breweries, distilleries. But because of the weather, there are so many festivals, concerts, even barbecue with your Aussie friends. So there will be lots of things to do indeed.
Amazing. How was your experience in this, doing fun stuff in your free time, Nicole?
Yes. So I was only there for 5 months, so I was very determined to live it up. So to be blunt, Sydney is awesome with nightlife. I went clubbing all the time. But also Sydney has a little bit of everything, which I love. It's such a big city. So going off what Amy said, I did happy hours all the time with my friends. If you want something more chill, getting like a pitcher of sangria on the beach with like a cheese board, you know, so fun. There's rooftops too. And since Sydney is such a large cosmopolitan city, we always enjoy that, being on rooftops, getting the view with the opera house, you know, down below. There's also little small neighborhoods in Sydney that you may not expect that are quite charming. There's an area called Newtown that is known for all the hipster bars. There's actually a little bar in there called Holy Moly, and it's an indoor little golf course. So you get to have a drink and like play golf with your friends. And then of course there are the typical, you know, like nightclubs that you show up to at midnight and stay at until the morning. So they have everything. Very fun.
Amazing. Cool. All right, guys. So let's move on to the final 3 topics of the destination debate, but don't you dare going out of this live because we still have the quiz coming up. So stay tuned. So next topic is weather seasons. Weather seasons. I think there's a big myth, Sarah, that in Canada is all about snow. Is it?
No, it only snows like once a week in Vancouver. But you're right, Canada is like the second biggest country in the world, so you are going to see some variability in terms of weather. For Vancouver, I saw someone in the comment section said Raincouver, and that is a reputation that, you know, people have. But I would say that it only rains all the time. It doesn't rain all the time. It only rains kind of more often in the winter. But we have 4 very distinct seasons. Right now is our spring season, and it is like very sunny outside. It's like beautiful park weather. And then we also have hot summers. You know, it's not going to be as hot as Australia or even other cities in Vancouver, in Canada, but we're mild. So, you know, when it's winter, it only snows once a week. It does rain in the winter, but not all the time. But all the other 3 seasons are absolutely beautiful. In the fall, you see all the orange, green, and brown leaves. In the springtime, which is now, you have lots of park hangouts, and in the summer you go to the beaches and you suntan. So you just have to be okay with, you know, it raining once in a while, but it's not like always raining. And I think that's a big misconception about Vancouver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd totally agree with that. I mean, coming from the UK, the rain wasn't too much of a shock to me. I was kind of used to that. And I remember someone saying to me when I first got there, there's no such thing as bad weather, just a bad coat. So you'll have a good jacket on you. Don't go out without an umbrella. But actually, I think it's really not that bad at all. Like, especially considering like other places in Canada, like Toronto, Montreal, they can reach like minus 30 degrees Celsius, and they have these underground tunnels you have to go through to kind of get around the city. In Vancouver, it's so much milder. You have the sun. Like, I was on the beach when I first got there in August, just sunbathing. But then also, like, whilst it's kind of a bit drizzly in the city, you can escape to the mountains, get the snow, which is really like was a massive highlight for me. Yeah, there's like free resorts within Vancouver itself, and then Whistler only an hour and a half away. So yeah, the weather's pretty versatile and gives you a little bit of everything, I'd say.
Cool, absolutely. All righty, how about in Sydney, guys? Is it really over 30 degrees Celsius every single day?
Well, indeed, I would say that Australia and Sydney have among the best climates of the world. So for our friends in the Northern Hemisphere, it's absolutely the opposite. So during, let's say, November, December, it is absolute summer. And from July, June, it is the actual winter. So you will spend Christmas, with this building snowmans by the beach. So absolutely different. And Aussies celebrate Christmas in July because it's when it's a bit cold. For cold, I mean 10 degrees Celsius. So you can have like a good jacket, and that's more than enough. And for hot, I mean, when I was there, I think there was just one day that it was over close to 40 degrees. Normally, it's very, very mild. And the good thing of Australia is that if you want to go to an amazing beach destination or go to the Great Barrier Reef and have a 30 degrees climate, or go to the mountains and go snowboarding, it's also possible.
Nicole, how did you find the weather there coming from Boston?
So much better than Boston. I arrived to Sydney in February, so it was peak summer. And sorry, being American, I don't know the conversion, but it was like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was very, very hot, but it quickly transitioned from that peak summer to fall to winter, and it was pretty mild. And even the winter I quite enjoyed. It was very different from here in Boston, where we get dumped on with snow a couple times a week. Again, I don't know the conversion, but the coldest it got was about 50, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So you would just need a light jacket I never needed a winter coat or boots or anything like that. So I quite enjoyed the weather.
Yeah, cool. All righty. Okay, guys. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to now go for a quick break. And once we're back, we're going to have the quiz. Let's see how they know about each other's cities when we're back after the break. It's just 1 minute. Stay there. And we're back, everyone, now with the quiz. But before we get into that, we got some questions here regarding a space for you guys to send questions to all our guests here. Yes, we're gonna have like a couple of minutes after the quiz. So if you have questions about, especially about Macquarie University or BCIT, you can shoot here on the chat, and we will address them right after the quiz. Okay. So get ready, guys. As I mentioned to you, you're gonna keep teaming up as you are. So Sarah and Chloe and Nicole and Amy. And now you're gonna have to answer questions about each other's city, okay? So let's just start now. And each question will be worth 1 point. And now at the end, we're gonna see who is the winner. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, bring it on.
All right, so let's rock it. First question about Vancouver, therefore, to Amy and Nicole. Guys, in what year was Vancouver established? Option number 1, 1776. Option number 2, 1690. Or option number 3, 1886.
I go. Okay, I think it's the last one. The other two are way too early for Canada.
Is that the final answer?
I think.
Yeah, let's see. Put it on the screen. Is that the right answer? Yay, that's the right answer. 1 point to Team Sydney. All righty. Now, Team Vancouver, a question about Sydney. What percentage of Australian population actually lives in Sydney? Option number 1, 23%. Option number 2, 16%. Or option number 3, 20%.
Oh,
I know. I'm thinking like the second two.
yeah.
Right? Because they're saying that it's like so multicultural. But I mean, it's still Australia.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chloe? I feel like you got this.
So it was 23, 16, or 20, right? Are those the answers?
You gotta pick. What's the final answer?
Just go.
Oh, let's go for 20.
20 degrees.
20.
Is that correct? 20%. That is correct.
Oh.
Very good. 1 point to Team Vancouver as well. We got some people that got it right here. Yeah, very good. Olatunde Hamed got it right. The last one, Guzman also got it right. Alrighty, so Team Sydney, next question. What is Vancouver's official hockey team? Number 1, the Maple Leafs. Number 2, the Canucks. Or number 3, the Oilers.
I got it. The Canucks. Have to be the Canucks.
The Canucks. Is that the Canucks? Right answer is the Vancouver Canucks. How do you say, by the way, Sarah?
Canucks.
Canucks. Have you watched a game?
Of course I have. I think everyone from Vancouver has. Everyone's gotten a free ticket once in their life for work or for for a raffle or something. And yeah, they're it's hard right now with COVID, but I think they are starting to play again. And even though they don't always win, that's okay. We root for our teams.
All right. So now a similar question to the Sydney team. Oh, sorry, to the Vancouver team. What's Sydney's Australian Football League team is number 1, the Eagles, number 2, the Swans, or number 3, the Kangaroos?
I feel like the Kangaroos would be too
too
obvious. Yeah. I feel like the Swans, it just doesn't seem like a very football kind of animal.
Yeah, but then Sydney Swans sounds a little bit better than Sydney
oh my
Eagles.
gosh, you're so right. And then they're graceful. Maybe we should go with Swans. You think we should say Swans?
Yeah, let's go Swans.
Swans.
Amy, are they right?
They are. They should be right.
Oh,
Yes, they are.
Oh my God, we're
Point is the Sydney Swans. Have you watched them, Amy?
Gosh, Australian footy, it's just so complicated. It's like, but I mean, I don't say it not gender-wise, but seriously, even Aussie say that Aussie football is just from another world. So I actually watch it in the TV, but I never went. I should go. Next time I go to Australia, I will do it.
All right. Okie dokie. So next question now for Team Sydney. How many local ski mountains are around Vancouver? Surrounding Vancouver. Number 1, 3. Number 2, 4. Or number 5. Oh, number 3, 5. 3, 4, or 5.
What do you think, Nicole? There was one close to where I live in North Vancouver. So
I've only been briefly, and it was in the summer. So I actually have no idea, but I feel like it's Canada, so there has to be quite a few.
yeah,
My money's like 4.
Yeah, well, in the chat it also says 4, so I don't know if we should go 4. They are pretty clever. Yeah, I think let's go 4.
Well, and the answer is.
Oh, I know.
According to our research, that would be Grouse Mountain, Mont Saint-Maur, I don't know how to say, and Cypress Mountain.
Yeah, but then you could include Whistler, which is just a little bit further away.
Exactly. So we are almost
almost there. Almost there.
Almost.
All right. So, by the way, let me ask my team to keep counting the points for both sides and let me know, please. Next question to Sydney. Oh, sorry, to the Vancouver team. What year did Sydney host the Olympics? Was it 2000? Was it in 1984 or in 1992?
Okay, I don't think it's 1984. I think it's maybe 2000, but I'm not sure. So
I feel like 2000 might have been. Why am I thinking that was Athens? Oh God.
Oh no, maybe it was. What was the other one? What were the options again?
Yeah, 2000, 1984, and 1992.
Someone tell us.
That's very easy.
Oh no, I'm having this.
Guys, what about you in the chat? You can put the answer there to help them out if you want.
I'm just okay. Okay.
The middle one.
Yeah, let's just say the middle.
The middle, 1984.
Oh no, not that one. Let's go 2000.
2000. And the answer is 2000. That's correct. Point.
Well done.
It was in the millennium. Alrighty. So next question, Sydney. What was Vancouver formerly called? Number 1, Granville. Number 2, Port Union. Or number 3, Sherbrooke. Do you know this one, Sarah?
I have no idea.
Do you know it has Granville Island there, and has Granville in so many things. So
that's a good point. I don't know enough about the city, but I know it is right on the water. So Port Union sounds like it also is a viable option. but I like
Yeah.
your idea more, I think.
So what's the final answer? We got people like saying sending in tips.
What do
Different
you
tips.
think, Nicole?
I have no idea.
Should we go for Granville then?
Yeah, because if other things are named after it, but I don't. Yeah, let's try.
Granville?
That's a hard one.
That is a hard one. Is Granville correct? Granville is correct. Point again. Those guys are on fire. Okie dokie, now your turn, Team Vancouver. What is the most popular summer sport in Australia? Number 1, rugby. Number 2, cricket. Or number 3, soccer. One important thing, the question is, what is the most popular summer sport?
Oh, okay.
Do you know that one, Amy?
I think maybe cricket, but what do you think, Amy? Or not Amy, sorry. Amy on my team. Chloe.
Nice one. Nice try. I think cricket. I think.
Me too.
Cricket, is cricket the right answer? Yeah, it is the right answer. Cricket, very good point. Now, final question, last question for the Sydney team. What was Vancouver named after? Actually, one quick second. Let me do something. I have a better one. Which food was invented in Vancouver? Number 1, poutine. Number 2, cotton candy. Or number 3, California roll.
Oh, it has to be the sushi.
Which one you said?
California roll, sushi.
I would think, yeah, for the Asian population, definitely. First one, it's not sugar candy, cotton sounds not right. Should be sushi.
Yeah, the California roll. That's our answer.
Is it sushi? Is it California roll? It is California roll. All right, so now final question for the Vancouver team, all right? Okay, guys, which of the next world record was not done in Sydney? Number 1, the most underpants worn at once. Number 2, the fastest 100-meter egg and spoon race. Or number 3, the largest gathering of people dressed as Harry Potter. Which of these 3 did not take place in Sydney?
What was the first one again?
Underpants, the most underpants worn, fastest 100 meters egg and spoon race, and largest gathering of people dressing as Harry Potter.
I feel like the gathering one would be true because Aussies do stuff like that. I don't know.
I think the egg and spoon one, but I don't know.
Yeah, let's say egg and spoon.
Again, second one.
Second one, fastest 100-meter egg and spoon race. Is that correct? No. It's actually the largest gathering of people dressed as Harry Potter, and that was actually in Perth. I did that research. Yeah, not in Sydney.
Oh, okay, come on, it's pretty close.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna ask my team here to tip me up on who was the winner. Who was the winner, guys? Can you write down there? Was it Sydney or Vancouver team? Who won that one?
They're just focused on the answers. Oh,
it's a tie. It's a tie. So, okay. So we'll go to the one more question then. Okay. So, question to the Vancouver team. Sydney tallest freestanding structure is number 1, the Center Point Tower. Number 2, AMP building. Or number 3, the Harbor Bridge.
no idea.
Do you guys, Nicole, do you know that one?
I think.
Okay. You, Emmy?
I think I know, maybe.
I feel like it might be one of the first two because
Yeah?
I know the bridge is big, but it's not that tall, is it? I don't know.
So what's the final answer?
Chloe, you just go for it. I give you permission. Don't worry.
Let's say the first one. Why not?
Center Power Tower. Is Center Power Tower correct, guys? It is correct. Okay, so now the Sydney team, you have to get this one right. Otherwise, Vancouver wins. Okay? So now let's go over next question. How far is Vancouver from the Canada-US border by car? Number 1, 45-minute ride. Number 2, 90 minutes ride. Or number 3, 3 hours ride. How far is Vancouver from the border with the US?
I don't think it's 3 hours. It's too far. I think it's right over the border from Washington.
Maybe the B, because I also wouldn't think it's that close.
90.
So what is the final answer?
So it was 30? What? 30?
45 minutes, 90 minutes, 3 hours.
90?
Yeah, let's go 90.
90 minutes?
Yeah.
Sarah, are they correct?
I would say 45.
It is 45, guys. Quite short to the border. 45 minutes. Therefore, we have winners here at the quiz. The Vancouver teams, they won. Very nice. But yeah, so basically now let's move on to the final pitch. So we're gonna give you each like 45 seconds to say why all these folks that have watched us so far, over like 100 and something people, why should they pick your city? Let's start with you, Chloe.
Okay, I would say Vancouver because you could be skiing in the mountains in the morning, having lunch in the city in the afternoon, and watching sunrise on the beach by the evening. I think that is pretty amazing to me. Literally got everything you could ask for. So yeah.
Very well. Sarah, why should students pick Vancouver?
Students should pick Vancouver because it is a city like no other. Even during the times right now where everything has changed and so many places have been closed down due to COVID, you can still live such an amazing life here. And do all the outdoor activities your heart desires. And to be honest, you know, during these times, the best thing to do is to be in nature. It is really, truly what makes the soul happy. And whether it's rollerblading, which is my personal favorite activity, going skiing, snowboarding, dipping in the ocean, biking around the seawall, you can just do anything like that. And it's just going to make a smile on your face. And in terms of jobs, we have a soaring job market, and you can really make your life amazing here. And also, if you are studying in a Canadian institution, you can come to Canada right now. So our border isn't open unless you are coming here to study. So studying at an institution like BCIT or another university is really something that you can do right now, which you can't say for a lot of other countries. So yeah, Vancouver is amazing. I'm from there. I love it, and I plan to live here forever. So I hope that you get to experience Vancouver and see my beautiful city.
Very well, very well. Okay, now let's move on to Nicole. Nicole, why should people choose Sydney to study?
Okay, here's my ultimate pitch. I was the happiest I've ever been when I was in Sydney because the Aussie lifestyle is just so healthy. Like all the food is so fresh, and there's such a good work-life balance in Australia too. So like you get outside every single day. It's very social, so you always have a long lunch, and you know you can be very social in the evening if you do those happy hours like I mentioned, or if you like nightlife. The nightlife is super fun. Also, Sydney is one of the most notable cities in the world. If you think about it, it's kind of like a Paris or a London or New York City. It's pretty iconic, so just getting to say that you've lived there is pretty impressive to a lot of people. And going off that, it is one of the most international cities in the world, so that means they have wonderful food and you'll get to meet people from all around the world. So come to Sydney. Oh, and the travel around Australia is awesome too. I went to every single state in Australia. It has a lot to offer. So definitely recommend.
Very well. Amy, Why should they pick Sydney as their next study abroad destination?
Well, just to start, if here you are a warm people that love a good weather, climate, definitely I think Sydney is the greatest option for you. It's one of the most multicultural cities, has so much to offer. You can go to more than 12,000 beaches during 32 years, imagine, like going to one every single day. And yeah, there's so much to do. The education system, it's wonderful there. And actually in these crucial times, Australia has had one of the best managers of the COVID situation, Sydney in particular. Right now, basically, Australia, it's almost a COVID-free country. So, well, indeed has an amazing lifestyle. You can go to national parks, beaches, go surfing, have amazing food, go to sports, and, well, enjoy a very mild weather. So I highly, highly recommend Sydney for you.
Amazing. Again, I would like to thank Chloe, Amy, Nicole, and Sarah for joining us today. Guys, you did an amazing job. It's an easy task selling this out, but it's not that easy to represent those amazing destinations. And you did good. You did great today. So thank you for joining us. And I hope to see you guys in one of the other next next shows that we're going to host. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos. You are an amazing host.
Thanks.
And for all of you that have been with us here on this amazing journey for the past 60 minutes, I hope you have enjoyed, right? Again, here at the Student World, we do whatever we can to help you find the perfect place for you to study abroad. It's an amazing experience. We've all had the opportunity to do it here at the Student World, and we hope that you can keep yourself motivated. Even though we're going through this uncertain times, we can choose to believe that they will be over soon, and that you will find yourself studying in maybe one of these two amazing cities here. Again, remember, there's not one destination fits all. It's the city that best matches you and what you want, right? So think about it and use the time that we were all given now in this pandemic to do a little bit more of research and to really plan your study abroad. And you can count on the Student World to help you throughout the whole process. So if you haven't liked our video yet, please do like. If you don't like what you watch here today, it's completely fine. Just put your dislike there. It's anything that can help us know if we're in the right path, because the essence of what we do here is to help you, right? And if you're not following us again on our social media channel on Instagram and Facebook at the Student World, follow us and we'll keep you up to date on the opportunities around the world. Okay, thank you all for joining us today. Have all a great evening, whatever you are in the world. And I hope to see you again at the Student World live show. The Student World, whatever you want to study, we know how to get you there.